Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Happy Knitting Podcast. My name is Julia and I'm coming to you from the UK. Today is the 27th of August? No, the 27th of April 2024. Not sure why I struggle with the date every single time, but here we go. As you can probably hear, I'm a little bit under the weather, but I decided to just make a quick episode today just to get some finished objects out there on video, and then we are going on holiday tomorrow. So very briefly, I have two finished objects. The first one, I should be wearing it, but you know what? It is bloody freezing here in the UK. It is so cold. It's rainy. We just went out for brunch and I was literally wearing my winter coat and a woolen hat. So I'm not going to put on my tank top for you because my house is also quite cold. So this is the mini mock neck tank by Jessie May Designs. Sorry, this is a bit awkward showing it to you, but it is a tank top. I finished it. I'm very happy I finished this. I don't know why this was such a slog. I don't think it was the pattern's fault. I didn't love the pattern. There's nothing wrong with it. I would have loved some more schematics, but there's nothing inherently wrong with the pattern. I think it's just personal preference. But just knitting this on a fingering weight yarn on small needles, small gauge, this just really annoyed me. And there's no reason for it. I think it just didn't really click, this project. But it is done. It's the mini mock neck tank. I knitted using Knit Picks palette in the colorway Fuchsia. I wanted a pink one. This was not my sort of dream yarn for it, but I just wanted to knit this out of a yarn that I had in stash. And then I was thinking I might make more. I'm currently not sure if I want to knit this again, but if it turns out to be really wearable, I might. It is definitely possible. In terms of modifications, I did a few. So because my row gauge was off, I elongated this bit up here. I also made the armholes deeper because I hate sort of tank tops where the armholes are sort of tight. That's the worst feeling. I want a proper long armhole. So that was a little bit iffy, but I think I made it work. It doesn't look too awful. I also, and I forgot to mention this last time, I did some shaping here, as you can see, because I think the original pattern is written to have negative ease, which means it sort of stretches over your body. And no, I didn't want any of that. So I think I had a little bit of positive ease, close to no ease. But obviously, if you then just knit it straight down, it's going to be tight at the top and then sort of flowy. But I did want a bit of shaping. So as you can tell here, I just sort of decreased. And I think it turned out really, really well. I'm sorry I'm not modeling this for you today, but also, yeah, such is life. So I modified that. I basically did all the ribbing just in the length all to what I like rather than what the pattern says. And as I mentioned last time, I did the bind off on the neckband, which you pick up. I did it inside out because I think it looks really neat. And I also didn't find the instructions of how to pick up the stitches super clear. But with the help of Ravelry, it was actually fine. I think I picked up along here on a 3:4 ratio. So I picked up 3 stitches for every 4 rows, and that seems to have worked perfectly. So it looks really nice. I love the fabric. Time will tell if this is practical. I'm not sure if I'm going to take it on holiday with me, but I will wear it in summer and let you know about it for sure. So that is my mini mock neck tank. And then you may remember I recently finished my husband's neon socks and I had yarn left over and my son wanted a hat. Originally I was going to take this yarn on holiday and knit him a hat there, but then I needed a quick project for train knitting, so I cast on the hat. And my plan was to just make a ribbed beanie because I really like a ribbed hat. I think it looks really good. I enjoy knitting it. So I knit a bottom-up ribbed hat. And I was very much playing yarn chicken and just had like the tiniest bit of yarn left when I bound off. Tried it on my son and my son wasn't happy with it. And I was really grumpy at that point. I held the sock yarn double, so it's that's why I was playing yarn chicken. I should have held it single. I should have done a fingering weight hat, but yeah, I was trying to cut corners, so I was kind of running out of yarn. And when I tried it on my son, it did fit, but he wanted it bigger. And then he decided he wanted ear flaps and strings to tie it shut. So, I mean, I wanted it to be a really cool hat, but he wanted an ear flap hat. So I just improvised some ear flaps. And can you see how tiny they are? This is literally the amount of yarn I had. I was playing horrible yarn chicken on this and just about managed these tiny ear flaps, which actually work really well. And then I let him pick yarn for the little like tie bits. And again, I was trying to go for something like neutral, matchy, whatever, but no, he wanted pink and purple rainbow string. So I used some yarn out of stash. He actually used this yarn that I knit into socks quite recently. Then he got really upset because he also wanted the neon yellow to be in this. So I had to undo it, and because I was so out of yarn, I think on this one, I'm not sure if you can tell, there are like 5 magic knots in there because I just had to magic knot all the like tiny leftovers from weaving in the ends and such together to even make this work. Like this was so ridiculous. But it looks a bit funny because it's a ribbed hat and it's not stretched out, but it's actually really cute. It actually turned out perfectly. I washed it, I blocked it, and I think now it's a really good fit. So it's not really what I was expecting to make, but it worked out and it is done and it is a finished object. And I literally have 0 grams left of this yarn, which is very satisfying because usually you always have a little bit of yarn left. But this skein of yarn, which is by Das Mondschaf, a German sock yarn in the colorway I Am the One Who Knocks, this has been very well used up and I got 2 finished objects out of it. So I think it's a success. So yeah, 2 finished objects for the week, and I have been doing some knitting throughout the week as well. I haven't really started any new projects because I'm trying to have less whips. Just because we're going on holiday, I'm not going to take any whips with me because I don't see the point. So I'll be doing all the new cast-ons while we are there, and then it'll be nice if I come back and I don't have a million things on the needle. But I think at the moment I only have 2 shawls and 1 pair of socks and a couple of blankets. So I think I'm doing pretty well. So regarding socks, remember these? I cast these on a while ago and then went into focusing on my finished objects and finishing things. So I sort of let these fall by the wayside a little bit, but I have picked them up again. And I have 2 concurrent socks and they both now have their heels. So I finished both heels last night. I'm knitting them concurrently just because it's fun and it works well with sort of yarn management, because I am basically knitting these entire socks just to use this beautiful mini skein that never shows up. I think you can see it more in the socks. It's really beautiful. It's like slightly lilac with neon yellows and purples and a couple of like pink speckles. It's really pretty. And this is from a mini subscription from Indie Yarn Club here in the UK, and I'm not sponsored. But this is what I wanted to put into socks. So I have combined this with a purple skein of Felt Fusion, which this is really old stash yarn, and I really like it. I love the high twist. I think it's a high twist BFL yarn, and I love a high twist yarn. So I'm using these 2 for the stripes, and then I am using a blue, which I hope I haven't lost it, because I was going to use this blue for the toes as well. I mean, I don't have to. If I have lost it, it's not the end of the world, but I do hope I have it somewhere. So my plan is to have the sort of white speckly stripes, and then, as you can tell, I've done the heel and the other stripes in the purple. So I have turned both heels. Theoretically, I have thought about making them 2 at a time. Once I have them at the same point, I can just put them on 1 needle. But I'm also quite enjoying the concurrent knitting, so maybe I'll just leave them as they are. But yeah, vanilla socks. I am doing 10 row stripes, 20 rows of 2x2 rib. Yeah, pretty straightforward. And I do want to knit more scrappy socks this summer. I think for the first time I'm going to join in the summer sock camp, I think, by the Crazy Sock Lady. I am really feeling all the socks, and I will talk a little bit later about all the yarns that I'm planning to bring on holiday. And honestly, right now, I just want to knit all the socks. It's ridiculous. So I'm thinking I might even start a whole bunch of socks, and then I can just finish them during summer sock camp, because you can do that. That is within the rules, and also, who cares? So yeah, lots of socks may be happening. Other projects that I've been working on, I've really only been working on my shawl. This is the Faded Undulations wrap or shawl by Stephen West. And yeah, this is where we are. It's sort of crinkled because I keep stuffing it into my project box. But isn't it pretty? So you can kind of tell the fade. It's very, very subtle, but it is a faded shawl. I love this pattern. I love a good feather and fan, and now I have mohair in my mouth. And what I'm doing is I'm dropping stitches, which is not good. Let's fix that. I'm using this yarn, which is a cotton and possibly acrylic blend. This is Schreepjes well in the Coral Catastrophe colorway, which, how fun is that? And how fun is the name Coral Catastrophe? So as you can maybe tell, maybe you can't, it started off with a very sort of light coral, and then it's getting more saturated as I go. But the fade is even more subtle because I'm holding it with this mohair. And today I actually have the label for you, so I can show you. This is from Novita Yarns, which is a Finnish brand, I believe. And this is their Tuli base, which is a mohair and viscose. So it's not your typical mohair and silk, it's slightly less fancy, but I actually really like it, which is good because I also got myself a cream quantity of this because I wasn't sure which was going to go better with the fade, and also I always need mohair. And this was quite affordable. So yeah, I'm holding these double, which means my gauge is much looser than the gauge in the original pattern, but it doesn't matter because it's just a repeat. So I can just make it as long as I want, or I do want to use up as much yarn as possible, so it might become a schlanket, I'm not sure. But my aim is to get pretty far into this cake because I think it'll be really fun once I have these really saturated colors. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this on the podcast, but my goal this year is to always have a Stephen West pattern on my needles because I just find them so fun. And so many times when I see the original pattern picture, it doesn't appeal to me. But then when I see other people making them in different colors, I really do like them, and I just think most of Stephen's patterns are so fun to knit, and I'm just here for it. I want to have the fun knitting experience, so I have saved a whole lot of Stephen West patterns that I want to knit this year as well, which also should work well with using up stash yarns, single skeins and so on. So yeah, that is definitely a plan of mine. So yeah, that is my only knitting object to show you, but I have also been working on my blankets. This has been quite a good project to work on just because it's been really stressful, which I'll talk about later maybe. But I've been needing some simple projects, and something about crochet is just so soothing, it's so relaxing. So I'm just making this giant granny square. The yarn that I'm using is from Puff Flower Crochet, which comes already wound up and knotted together. So all you need to do is take a crochet hook and just go in endless rounds and rounds, and it is so relaxing, and you can see the colors change, and I find it really, really soothing. And I think the more I make progress on this blanket, the more I like it, because I love the colors in the skein or the cake or whatever. And when I started working on it, I was like, I don't know, do I love it, or is it really, I don't know, too pastel? but I think I like it. And if I don't, I will give it to someone who will enjoy it. But yeah, I have been working on this. I'm going to miss crochet when I go away. Maybe this is a good segue into my project planning for a holiday. So far, I've only packed knitting projects because I don't really know what to take in terms of crochet. But I know I'm going to miss crochet, so I wonder if I should take a couple of, I don't know, balls of cotton or something and just crochet some dishcloths so I can get that itch out of my system. But yeah, I have sort of planned what I want to take. A couple of days ago, I just got I balled up all the yarn that I want to take with me. Essentially, I want to use up stash I want to knit socks. I want to knit socks with sock yarn held double. I want to knit more hats with sock yarn held double just to get stash out of my yarn out of my stash. I am so close to being at net zero for this year. So, I mean, I have bought some yarn, but I'm very close to having used more than I've bought, which would be a good start. And then I should keep going. So I think I have yarn for 4 pairs of socks, 2 muscle bra hats, although I may have decided that one of those skeins might turn into a shawl instead. I have picked yarn to either make a fluffy lentil because I have some, is it Drops Melody, one of those really fluffy yarns. I have some of that, which I could, I think, turn into something like a lentil. Or I have some Rowan cotton that I want to turn into either a toaster tank or a anchor's tee. So I need to decide what I want to do. I think one of those garments is going to come and then a million single skeins of yarn to make little projects. Oh, and I want to make some baby knits for my friend who is pregnant, because I'm throwing her a baby shower when we get back. So I like to have a stack of little baby knits to give her. So I've also caked up some pink yarn to probably do the beloved bonnet by Tin Can Knits because that's really cute. The problem is our luggage is so full and I didn't really expect it. So I am about 80% packed. I'm not sure how it's going to work. What I might do is just take all of my yarn in our hand luggage. I don't like doing that, but I want to take my yarn. But yeah, I'm not sure if I can take all the yarn that I want to take. So we'll have to see about that. But that is the plan. So I hope to come back to you after a holiday and have a whole stack of, accessories. I think I'm going to focus on the accessories. In reality, I just want to take all the sock yarns and knit all the socks. But what if on day 3 I am sick of knitting socks? What do I do then? So yeah, I'll try to take a variety, but I need to be very mindful in terms of the yarn that I pack. And maybe that means making a fluffy lentil more than making a cotton tee, just because I will take less yarn and need less space for the fluffy yarn than I would for the cotton yarn. We'll see. But yeah, those are my holiday knitting plans. So yeah, I think we've covered all the knitting and crafting and crochet. What I'm wearing today is the linen quill strange brew yoke that I knit and talked in detail about for what seems like months. So if you go back a couple of episodes, I think the last episode that I wear this, I talked about it because it was my finished object. So I won't go into detail, but I have been wearing this a lot and I've actually gotten quite a few compliments on it. So I'm so glad. You know how many times I was ready to frog this, even as I was almost, on the bottom ribbing. I was still thinking about just ripping it all out. But I am very happy that I didn't do that. So yeah, all good. And yeah, as you can tell, my voice is pretty much going. It's been really stressful. My husband has been sick basically all week, which means that all the holiday prep on top of work and getting work ready to leave for 2 weeks on annual leave and all of that, it's all sort of fallen on me and I'm just exhausted now. Luckily he's better, so they're currently out getting all the snacks for the plane trip tomorrow. I should be packing, but I did a lot of packing yesterday, so we should be okay because everything essentially needs to be done tonight because we're leaving tomorrow morning at like 6 a.m. But yeah, I am quite run down. I feel like I need a holiday just from the run up to the holiday, which is ridiculous, but I mean, so is having a small child and all of that. So yeah, that's what's been going on. Our house, we've fixed all of our leaks for now. We're leaving it in a pretty good state, which is good, because I was worried we might not get some of the things that needed to be fixed done before we leave, but I think we've got it all sorted out for now, which is good. So luckily no new disasters to report on that one. So yeah, I should get packing, I should get organized, and then if you do want to follow along on a holiday, I will very likely be posting some pictures on Instagram. So if you want to follow me there, I'm the Happy Knitting Podcast. And then I shall be back in around 2 weeks. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll have lots of finished knitwear because I'll have gotten so much knitting time and so many projects done. At least that is the dream for now. Honestly, I just can't wait to escape the horrible weather that we've been having here. It's been miserable. So fingers crossed for some sunshine. Yeah, I think that's about it. So thank you so much for watching today. Sorry if this was slightly discombobulated. It's just one of those weeks, and yeah, we'll just deal with it. So I hope until I see you again, you are all well and safe and healthy, and you have some lovely yarn to play with, and I will talk to you very soon. Thank you for watching. Happy knitting. Bye!